problem for me in the past to keep talking, that's for sure. I don't know if you need anything special or not. Test, test. Keep talking, Trev. All right. I will keep talking.
Huh?
How many people have not heard the story of how the bellow of curlers came about? Have you heard that story? No. All right. For the gentleman in the back. In 2012-ish, we did pajama curl. We were on hockey ice, and we, as it sounds, we were curling in our pajamas. And the intent was we were going to spend the night at the hockey rink curling and maybe imbibing, right? So about early afternoon, one of our members, Rhonda, who was one of the founding members, she said, you know, I'm thinking about getting a party bus. What if we went bar hopping? Let me remind you, we are in our pajamas, right? And we're like, yeah, let's do it. So we did. We got a party bus with the brass pole and everything, right? So we decided to go bar hopping, and we go to Noda, and we get dropped off at a corner, and we start going bar to bar. And the first bar we're in, we made an impression. I'm not sure it was good, but we made an impression because we're all in our pajamas. We're having a drink, and we're now in a circle of about 20 of us, and we're doing the hokey pokey. Now, this also was not only a bar, but it was a sit-down restaurant too, right? So everybody's just watching this. But so that bar was easy. Everybody said, okay, let's go on to the next. We get to the next bar, and it was just a bar with pool tables and everything. And it's like, when we're ready to leave, how are we going to know? Right? How's everybody going to know that we're going to the next bar? So I bellowed curlers, and everybody heard it, and all 20 people flocked to where we were. We went on to the next bar. And that's how it developed, is that we went to the next bar. We were there for a while. We're ready to move on to the next one. I'd bellow curlers. Everybody would gather around. We'd move on to the next in our pajamas. There was only one bar fight. And I will say that Sue was justified in defending herself. But, and it was involving a Jenga game. But that wasn't too bad. All right, we are at 2 minutes after 2, and we're going to go ahead and get going. Welcome to this year's annual meeting. You know, our annual meeting, if you haven't been to this before, it's an opportunity to look back, look at what happened over the past year or so, and then kind of assess where we're at. And then it's also an opportunity to look forward. And in looking forward, you know, we're looking at the next year or two and what the direction we're heading in. And I gotta say, after the past couple of years, yeah, I'm glad that's behind us. You know, it was not easy as a club. It was not easy as a board. Took a tremendous amount of effort. But before we get into that, when you look at the fact that we added on about 100 new curlers in the spring and about 35, 40 in this fall, and with last year, there are a lot of people who don't necessarily understand how we got here. You know, it's easy. You see corporate people, like corporate events, they'll walk into this place and they're like, oh, this is nice. And they have no idea what it took to get here. So I'm going to try to give you the 40,000 foot view of how did we get here. So back in 2010, it really was just an idea. It was a social club at first. When we started curling, it was on hockey ice. And those of you who've heard us lament about hockey ice understand that it's pretty bad, right? You're not there for the ice, right? You're there more for the camaraderie and yeah, kind of the curling. But there was a small group that started as a Facebook group of saying, hey, let's get together. You know, the Olympics are on. Eventually morphed to, they started the curling club, the founding members. And you'll see people have name tags that show that they're one of the founding members. From 2010 to 2014, we were on hockey ice, and we would curl maybe 2 to 3 weeks out of a month. That was it, on a Friday night. They gave us Friday nights, which was great, but that was it. There was no options. And, you know, you'd throw a rock thinking it's going to curl to the left, it'd move 5 foot to the right. That's what hockey ice is, right? But I'll say almost from the start, we had been looking at, we need to be on dedicated ice. Most of us didn't really know what that meant, besides the fact that it would be curling and only curling on the ice we were playing, right? But we really had a commitment, and all the planets aligned, and we're going to go into that a little later, a little more detail. But November of 2014, we opened up the doors to this place. And I'll tell you, it was barren. There was not one stitch of furniture, chair, nothing on the walls. We did have the TVs because that was a donation. That was it. It's the only thing. And we told everybody, bring lawn chairs, because we were like, you know what? We need to put our money into where it's important, out on the ice, and everything else is a nice to have, right? And there were some people who were kind of upset about it. They were like, what do you mean bring lawn chairs? We've got to do something. And we were like, well, you know, if someone wants to step up and help out, i.e. donate. So when you look around the warm room, you need to understand that the vast majority, almost exclusively, everything you see has been donated in some form or fashion. Everything. I'm talking about everything on the walls, the floor, everything has been donated by members. And you know, as odd as it seems, 8 years later, this place is so much nicer than when we opened it up. And it's just been this evolution and process. And you look around and it's like, it's a nice place. And it's all because of the membership, all of it. There is no one single person that has been responsible for any of it. It's everybody pulling in the same direction. And I was speaking to a bunch of business owners, and I was like, I described this whole scenario of it's 100% volunteers and no one owns it. No one's got any commercial financial interest. We just have a passion about curling. And I looked at him and I said, you can't even get that in your own companies, and you pay those people. But we have it here. So that secret sauce of that camaraderie, the community, the pulling together is special, and we should never take it for granted. So 2018, we did our first Olympics. Wow, that was a roller coaster ride. We had no idea what to expect, and it went off great. And I'll be honest with you, this year's Olympics, all we did really was say, what worked last time? Let's do it again. And it really worked well. So when you look at, I call it the Taj Mahal, right? It's awesome. It really is. And if you've been in other clubs, you know that there's a lot of things special here. We're not unique. We're not the best. Okay. It's not a competition, but it really is something special here. And we really need to make sure that never gets forgotten. And so we're going to be establishing a history committee. And that history committee is going to kind of document the process we went through, because everybody's got pieces of it. You know, Peter's here from the dedicated facility committee, and Omar was part of that, and, you know, Brady, and there were a lot of people that were a part of it, and everybody's got their memories of it. But we're going to try to kind of archive it so that it's easy to refer to, because it's too easy when you walk in now to take for granted what it took to get here. It was a monumental effort to get here, and it's still a pretty big effort to keep it all going. But what's amazing about this all is that it's 100% volunteers. It's everybody just pulling in the right direction because we all want this, the culture, the camaraderie, and all of that to succeed, which is really cool to be a part of. So today we are probably at this point $2.1 million facility that is just gorgeous. When you talk about curling facilities, this is one of the best, nicest facilities that I've been in, and I've probably been in 40 clubs. It's not a matter of we're the best, but damn, we're good. So the other thing that you need to understand is the strategy as to how do we run this? What are the priorities by which we make decisions? And that's really key. And especially going into the pandemic, our strategy was really, wait a minute. I thought I took that out. Come on. What, too soon to make a joke? Drive revenue. We are running a small business. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The first priority of the board is to run this small business successfully, and I'll say profitably. Now, we're a nonprofit, so in nonprofit terms, that's called excess revenue. All right. The first goal is to make sure that we are succeeding as a business, because if we don't do that, everything else doesn't matter. If we don't succeed as a business, doesn't matter what else we're doing, we will not stay in business. So the past 2.5 years have been challenging to that, but I'll tell you, we've come out fairly strong, and I'll give you some background in a minute, but drive revenue, making sure that this company succeeds, Charlotte Curling Association succeeds, is rule number one, job number one, and that's not going to change. The second priority has been to drive membership, because until we get to a point where we've got a break-even point, that fulcrum point of membership that we can support what we're doing and make sure that we're profitable, we need to drive our membership up to a sustainable level. And then the third priority is membership fulfillment. Membership fulfillment is about enhancing the value of being a member of Charlotte Curling so that you never want to leave. I mean, it's a tried and true method of, do you want to go try to get new customers, or do you want to keep the customers you've got, right? We want to keep the curlers we've got. So how do we enhance what you experience at Charlotte Curling that makes you want to stay? It's real simple. We'd rather have you stay than go to try to find someone new. So the point here is, these are the priorities that we filter decisions through when we're making those decisions. Now, in 2019, we hit a fulcrum point of it wasn't the same. And this year we have hit the fulcrum point where priorities are different. Remember, job one is always going to be drive revenue. We've got to have a profitable company, profitable curling center, right? But the difference is that membership fulfillment moves up to slot 2. When we hit that point, that break-even point, we swap drive membership and membership fulfillment in our priorities. And we are at that point, which is great. That's where an organization needs to live, because you're able to, A, drive the revenue, make sure that you stay profitable. And now we can focus more on, how do we enhance the value of the membership? How do we keep this place strong with the people we've got? And yes, we'll always need to drive membership, because especially in Charlotte, it's a transient, there's people move, Peter's leaving us, it happens. And we can lose 10 to 20% of our membership in any given year due to normal circumstances, right? But if our membership is high enough, it doesn't change our priorities. So that's been the biggest thing, is that membership fulfillment is now the second priority. And that's really an important milestone, and that's where we want to keep it. So driving revenue, this is the 40,000 foot view. All right. When you look at what are the major impacts to revenue, this is what they are. Donations of 52,000. The Olympics, when you combine everything we did, was about $40,000. Membership, you might think that membership is the most important factor. And don't get me wrong, it is from an income perspective, but it's not the only factor. Your membership cost, what you pay as a member, covers about a third of what it costs to run this facility. Only a third. The other 2/3 of the revenue comes from somewhere else. That's an important concept to grasp, because during the pandemic, when we couldn't do the something else's, is when we took a huge financial hit. Last year, if you were at the last year's annual meeting, we lost $180,000. Lost, gone. We paid out $180,000 more than we took in during the height of the pandemic. So our other revenue streams that you see here are so important for us to be able to, A, run a profitable business, B, keep membership low. You know, we wouldn't have to do anything else if we tripled or quadrupled our membership costs, right? But how many people want to pay triple or quadruple what you're paying? Not many. So all of these aspects, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention corporate events, because corporate events, 56,000, that's all staffed by everybody here. Well, not necessarily everybody. The daytime people bore a huge share of the load, and we are eternally grateful to them for that. But that was $56,000 in income, which equates to about 170 members we did not have to recruit. It's huge. So all of this combined, you know, and is where our revenue stream came from. And that translates down to, here are the numbers. When we walked into this year, we budgeted to lose $40,000. We knew we were going to lose that. And we were okay with it, because that's a hell of a lot better than 180,000. You know, we knew it. We couldn't, it was a big thing to recover from. We had, the landscape was so unknown. We didn't know what we were going to be really faced with. So we budgeted to lose 40,000. We took in more money, but we also had more expense. We wound up replacing our chiller out back, right? Most of the monies for that hit in this budget year. While it was an insurance claim, we wound up, with the lighting and everything, we had higher costs, but it's eerie how we budgeted to lose $40,829, yet we actually lost $41,246. That's like, ooh, gives you a little chills. That's too close. So the first part, drive revenue, that's where we project we'll end the year, which is at the end of August, right? So now let's talk membership. I'm going to bring up the movie Field of Dreams. All right. And I'm going to make a statement. If you build it, they will come. Yeah. Right. And that's exactly what we, in blind faith, built this place on, was, hey, yeah, if we build it, we'll get curlers. And then we opened the door with 35 people. I remember looking around at the other 34 and we were like, damn, what happened? And eventually they did. When you start to look at what the membership numbers are, it grew. Yeah, okay, at 20 and 21, shock, surprise, it went on a decline. But 100 to go from 300 to 170 was a little scary, and we were like, we got to get it back. And for those in the room, can I get a drum roll, please? This year we are at 300. Yeah. So to everyone who helped get to that level, thank you very much. To those of you who joined this year, thank you very much. Hope you're happy, right? Now the goal is how do we know we're going to lose some. How do we make sure that we keep as many curlers as we can? That's what it's about. You know, and we do a lot of things right. There's always going to be room for improvement, but we want to try to keep everybody in the family as much as we can. Thousands upon thousands of man hours of volunteering is what it takes to run this place. And you look at the things that we did, even through the whole, second phase of the pandemic, second year of the pandemic, the learn to curls, the Olympics, the throw a rocks, right? Bonspiels, we toned them down. We did more in-house, right? Maintenance events. At least 166 of the members volunteered in some way, way over 5,000. We don't have a good way to track it all because, when Frank comes in on a Saturday morning to do ice, are we tracking those hours on Sign Up Genius? No. Board members, and so you start to say, well, where are all those hours being spent? Some of it you see. Some of it, most of it, not many people see it all. Because these are all of the different things that happen that are hours used for doing what we do and keeping the place going. And it's tremendous amount of effort on everybody's part. And once again, the fact that we all pulled together to make this happen is really, it is special. So now we talk about membership fulfillment. What does that look like? Well, the first thing I'll say is that for many of us, I've heard it described as Charlotte Curling. It's our happy place. It's where we go that we know we are comfortable, safe, welcomed, right? It's our happy place. And it's important that we keep that, that we've gone from being a new startup club to now being a club with chillers going down and a club with everyday problems, right? But what I feel that we've kept and we need to keep strong is that embracing of our culture. If you go to another club, you will get varying degrees of the culture you see here. No doubt about it. There are things ubiquitous throughout the world about curling. I like to think we're kind of a concentrate of that because we're, that whole boots, pull yourself up by the bootstraps and everybody pull together is so alive and well here and support each other that it's become kind of a much more of a concentration of what curling is in general. And so if you go to other clubs, there's many people who go to other clubs, sponsoring other clubs, they get back here and they're like, oh, it's great to be back. And that I'm proud of having been a part of that. Communicate, but not too often. We've been working on that. How much is too much? We want to get all that information out there, but we don't want to overload, that type of thing. Educate. Both new curlers and existing curlers. And how do we help everybody improve their game and feel better about the way they're playing? Help new members feel the love. We developed a kind of a mentorship program that for new curlers coming in, that was like I think we called it a godparent approach, right? Have someone as unconnected to them on the league night, be their support network to say, hey, how do I get a name tag? If I want a door code, all the questions that people might ask, give them a resource to go to. We're going to continue to enhance the training, but keeping our community of curling strong is really paramount to our long-term success. I was here watching the Little Rockers this morning and this afternoon. And it was so satisfying to see a bunch of kids of a variety of ages out there enjoying the sport and enjoying the culture of what we've got here. And that's so much of what we need for 10, 15, 20 years from now, to embed that culture in us now and embed that community and culture in the individuals. It's a positive environment to be around, and everybody should safeguard it and be proud of it. So over the 21-22 season, yeah, trust me when I say it was, there were times, I quit, mic drop, I'm out, right? Everybody felt stressed by it. It's gotten better. We're not out of the woods yet. Who knows what's coming next? But for 2.5 years now, we have successfully navigated through this and remained intact, which is huge. Membership growth, we're at a point where we're self-sustaining type of thing, where we're over that fulcrum point, which is great. We did a lot of improvements this year, some by choice, most not. We did not plan for the power pole to get hit and for us to have to replace all the lighting in the place. The end result's nice. Getting here was not necessarily, having floodlights in the locker rooms was not fun, right? We've had a lot of impacts. Some of them were the chiller, the lights, some of them, the carpeting here, the remodel of the bar have really been improvements to the place that have enhanced our environment. And bottom line is that over the past couple of years, we've rebuilt what we love. And for all intents and purposes, with mask wearing every once in a while now, it's intact, which is huge. So what's next? The next 12 months, we've got, we're going to have some meetup stuff, social stuff going on. We are going to have curl gating, but it's going to be more of a get to it when you can versus it's this next Saturday. We do have Hot Shots Camp coming up in September. And I will tell you, if you've not been to it, and if you've been curling for either a few months or a few years, you could benefit tremendously from it. Talk to our other members, because many of our members have been through the Hot Shots Camp. And we took out all of the net profit that the club might make on someone attending. So to the outside world, it's $725 plus fees. To us, Charlotte Curling members, it is only $599. And only 20 spots left. So sign up. There is also going to be a Grits is coming back in its full glory. Yes, finally, right? We purposely did not call any bonspiel we've held since the last Grits. We did not call it Grits because it was not going to be Grits. We are internationally known for Grits. And, that's something that is going to be coming back. Focus on membership fulfillment. We're going to have other bonspiels, both in-house and outside bonspiels. But for the most part, we're ready. Our facility is ready. The community is ready. And we have the passion and drive. And that really is what it's about. It really, when you think about it, 300 people all pulling in the same direction is amazing. Next year's looking good. 40,000-foot view. We don't have anything major planned. No changes, no major remodels, no chiller to replace, nothing. Knock on wood, right? We've got a new board, new energized leadership. There's going to be changes coming that way, enhancements. So all of the signs are that we're going to have a good year this next upcoming year. And I really am looking forward to it, because I really want to put the past few years behind us. The culture that we've got here is second to none. And you guys just need to embrace that and make sure that we keep it strong. We got this. So what can you do to help? Well, in general, we're going to wash, we're going to rinse, we're going to enhance a little, and repeat. Most of what we're going to be doing over the next year are things that we've done before, It's just might have to adapt it, but might have to, and looked at ways we can enhance it, but we got this. It really is a team effort, and with the team effort, the whole thing about the team effort is that it's not just one person. It's not just one small group. It's everybody leading towards it. And with that, you definitely do need a leader. Oh, you need a leader. So with that, I'd like to welcome Neil Pfeiffer up. Now, that was on purpose. Feel it for a minute?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So not many people know about this, but there is a presidency.
We lost your sound. Still can't hear you.
I know. There we go. Hey.
Yeah.
All right. Let me see if I can get it. Yep. All right. Here we go. Sorry. I don't do this for a living. Actually, I do. I mic up all the time. All right. There we go. All right. So the first thing I want to do is I just wanted to say thank you, Steve. And Steve's name is going to go on this room a number of times. I think we're going to put it on 8 times, and then I will be a caretaker. Sorry for that technical difficulty. So I did want to, as we make the transition, I wanted to talk to you about the Founder Circle. Many of you don't know what the Founder Circle is. Sorry for this. Let me see if I can get it to be. There we go. I know this mic is screaming hot. Let's see if I'm all right. There we go. Popping. All right, let's try that. And so Dave DeFair and Doug Young were our Founder Circle, and that means that they have donated more than $100,000 to open this this amazing facility. So Dave and Doug They have continued to support us, supported us over the years. And I just talked to Doug. He's in Slovenia. Is there Slovenia or Slovakia? Slovenia. And he is just tickled to death that we have this amazing facility. All right. So over here, just to my left and your right, we have a plaque that does honor these members, and we give them membership for life. I know that seems like a very small piece. So what we did in 2020 by the board is we gave them a free entry into Grits if they wanted to use it. So Dave and Doug, Dave is probably going to bring his family down from Canada, and Doug has maybe bringing back some Slovenians to curl in here. So that'll be more fun. So that is truly an international event. And so I would like to announce the two newest members of the Founders Circle, which is Steve and Carol McKee. So they have donated so much to our club in time, talent, and money. And Carol White and Dave Thompson, many of you on this call and in the room didn't know them. I was lucky enough to be virtually trained by Carol White. She was an amazing curler, and even towards the end of her curling career, she had the most perfect form I've ever seen. She would be like down on the ice, and she was a very big encourager of me. And when I was a young curler, and I know some of you think I've been curling forever, but I'm still a 5 and under because we're going to go to a 5 and under tournament here in a week or so. Oh, okay. Thank you. By the way, you didn't miss anything. Oh, I'm supposed to announce the board member results. What? Y'all are here for that? What are you talking about? So our board member elections, thank you for all those who voted. Julie, what was our final percentage? 54% of you voted, which is an amazing amount. We usually get in the mid 40s. So this was a very engaging election. It's very close. All right. So our three board members are Matt Kenlin, Jeremy Hojan, and Dana Derelak. Thank you for everyone who ran. Congratulations to those three folks that ran. Thank you to everyone who ran, and we appreciate your engagement. Ever since I've been the secretary of the club, one of the things about our like the board elections, they were like, we didn't get enough people that wanted to run the club. Every time I've been secretary all the way up to president, we've had a lot of interest in being on the board. We're trying to quell that. There's lots of meetings. There's lots of group texts. There's lots of things. It's a really difficult job. And at the end of 3 years, all three board members are brand new, although Jeremy's been on the board before. But we would like to thank the rolling off board members, which are, which are Omar Van Ruin. He's here. Thank you. Omar has served 13 years on the board. Only 9? It just felt like 13. Yeah, exactly. Like 13 years. So he is 9 consecutive board members. He was our first corporate event person. He also has done the ice, and he handed that off to Frank. And so we're going to definitely miss Omar's presence on the board. And so since he served for 9 years, also he was the vice president of the club for a while. And so we are actually going to rename one of the taps at our club. The Labatt tap is now going to be the Omar tap. And so we are going to rename that tap. We're going to label it as such. So if you see the Omar tap and you want to pour a beer, I think he would approve of that. We're definitely not going to have the Labatt light that we have on right now, but that's what we're going to do that. So the other two board members that are rolling off are Dave Allison. He has helped with corporate events for the past 2 years. We really appreciate it. That number that you saw earlier, $56,000, the vast majority of it is due to his salesmanship. And so we really appreciate his help. And then Misty Morris is rolling off. She's super excited to roll off. And she is the treasurer. She's been the treasurer. She's been our meetup coordinator. She is still going to run the pro shop and meetup. We had to twist her arm really hard, but she is going to help with there. So thank you all for those folks that did that. So where are we headed? Well, I wanted to, and I will talk about Steve and Carol separate in a second. But we have a lot of folks that have been serving our club for a very long time. As a volunteer, you're saying that any big volunteer job, you normally want to have a 3-year arc. The first year, you're super excited. You're going to change the world. The second year, you kind of know what you're doing. And the third year, you're like, okay, I'm done with this shit. Okay. And so these folks have all served well past that. And so John Frobe has been our bar manager pretty much since the beginning, right? And so he had to go to a Boy Scout thing this afternoon. And so he is moving aside, and Joe Moore is taking his slot. David Nichols has been our website person pretty much since we've had a working website. Josh Clark is going to take that slot. Dave Allison is also said his work is changing, and it's a lot more. So we need somebody to step up and help with corporate events. Carol McKee has been our Bonspiel chair, has chaired over 20 Bonspiels, and she's stepping aside, and luckily Dana is going to help us with that. Steve got drug out kicking and screaming from president, but he's still going to serve on the board for 1 more year. And then he said, bump this, we're out of here. And then Omar is rolling off, and he has been our facilities manager. And a lot of what we see around the buildings and grounds has been to him. So we appreciate all these members that have donated their time. We're excited to go back to them, just allowing them to just curl for a little while. So if we could give all of them a round of applause, that'd be great. Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. All right, good. We're there. So I did want to specially thank Steve and Carol, and we're giving them, or not giving them, they earned entry into the Founders Circle this year, and they have given their time, their talent, and their treasure to our club. And so I just wanted to give you a little bit about other things that Carol and Steve have done. Carol was one of our first board members in 2010. She ran 20 Bonspiels, like I mentioned before. And because of their international flavor, going to Vegas, meeting high-level curlers, she is able to draw from the whole country and really all of North America to come there. And Steve said she wanted to say she's a really awesome lead. All right. That is Steve's joke, not mine. Sorry, Carol. Sorry. I know you're watching online. And so Steve is our outgoing president, and he's been serving since 2013. He said it's 9 years that's felt like 20. So I did want to, from the board, I wanted to give Steve a gift. And so we have a gift for Steve. We're naming one of the taps for Omar, so we did give you a gift. So come on up, Steve. We know that Steve occasionally has a taste for whiskey. If you know Steve, you know that if he loses a curling game to you, he gets a double shot of whiskey. So it's a very expensive win. So we actually got some rocks glasses with your name on it. Thank you, honey. All right. So if you are at the bar, you're going to see the Steve McKee president, so you can cheers him. And so thanks, Steve. Cheers. Yep. So oh, that's pretty nice. All right. That is end of my prepared remarks. We do need your help as we're going forward. You saw the list of people that were volunteers and helping our club. We're going to need you to step up. Some of you, a part of the 140 new curlers, you have now experienced curling at our club. Don't think that you are not experienced enough to help us. So if you've been curling for 2 or 3 years, you can help with the Bonspiel. Please talk to Dana. If you have bar experience, talk to Joe Moore. He's going to be excited about that. And if you want to plug in any way, please talk to me. I can kind of funnel you in the correct space. So have I missed anything? Yeah, Casey's like, nope, shut up. So thank you all for being here for our annual meeting, and good curling, everyone. Thank you.